Welcome to the pre-premiere show. It's been a long, hard road, a year to get to the point Mary and I are at now. With all this, it's been my desire to do better shows and to make them more professional, higher quality, better production value. My glasses are reflecting there. Is that better? And this one certainly is. And Judy's story is really a showstopper. We have Susan Alloway coming up in January. I'm working on that one now, and that's another showstopper. I mean, it's going to bring down the house. Both these individuals are coming on camera in front of you and telling it like it is. They're very credible. They have a certain level of evidence to prove that things have happened to them that can't be explained otherwise. And on my part, editorially and with the effects, as many effects as I did for Judy's, there's actually less in terms of volume overall in the edit than would have been when I was trying to please the YouTube algorithms by doing 10-minute shows, which for me weren't working because we really need to have this be about the meaning, the human involvement, the human story with the visitors, not about the nuts and bolts and the flash and the bang and the pretty special effects and the loud zingy music and stuff, but to let them tell their story to you and do it in a way that you feel like you're sitting by the fire with them and they're telling it to you, which they are. So I've been only putting effects in imagery where I thought it would be necessary. A lot of the Netflix shows and the other bigger networks who do things like this, and sometimes do okay, most of them fail. They will just throw in images just to keep your attention, knowing that you'll get bored if they don't constantly see pretty shiny pictures and things. So that's not our audience, those people. Our audience is you. And it's my hope, because we treat the subject matter so seriously and we try to bring as much respect to it as possible, that people who may be on the fence about this whole subject matter, especially with the close encounters witness phenomenon, that they'll take a closer look. Because some of these shows, Mary and I watch a lot of them on Netflix, and we keep up. George Knapp did a great job. You watch that show, there's nothing to be embarrassed about saying you watched that show. But some of the other ones, yeah, I can see it. So it's our hope, and what we're doing will bridge a gap. The problem we're having is, of course, reaching the audience I know that's out there that's unaware of us. More of you, your audience. And I think a lot of you don't want to come forward because you expect to be treated badly. I mean, the Manhattan abduction film that was done by Netflix was a good example of why people who have these experiences don't want to come forward and go on camera, because they're being cheated. They're not being allowed to tell their story. They're editing it to suit their needs, and they're making it into shock and to get ratings. It's because it's all about money. It's not about money with us. So tonight's really different than what we've done in the past. There's a lot of it that's similar, you'll recognize, but it's just Judy's story is amazing. And here's Judy now. The
Hi.
car's still hot in the driveway, huh?
I'm on. Oh my gosh, I'm on my phone because I was looking for the email for the Steam Yard, and we were just at an SU basketball game. We lost.
Oh,
We were playing Georgetown. Oh my gosh, how are you?
good, good. Um, it's been busy lately. I don't mean in terms of personal experience, but just because of all the nonsense that's going on in the media. There's been I find it aggravating, the whole thing. So, and I really don't even want to talk about it because I'm kind of done with it. We're being gaslighted, and that's the end of that.
Yeah.
I'll say it again. Susan, my God, thank you. I don't have a bell here to ring. And Susan is our next show. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say it one more time, and that is, if I was to fly one of my radio controlled UAVs over the base next to us, in 10 minutes, there'd be someone at the door.
You bet it.
And I'd be getting arrested. And I would lose my license and my right to fly.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I think that's all it has to be said about this whole thing. There's just no way that we're being told the truth, and we may never know what the truth really is. There's all kinds of theories and stuff, and I'm really quite tired of it because, by God, when we see an actual visitor craft, you're going to know it. So
yeah,
and I don't think any of the craft that have been seen are them. So
I don't think so either.
But without further ado, let's talk about you and the show. I mean,
I'm boring.
No. No, you got serious during your storytelling. I don't like to call it an interview because it's not an interview. As you clearly know, you sat in front of the camera and you just talked to it like you were talking to the people, and that's what you were doing.
Yep. It was a monologue.
And the more you talked about it and the more you got into recounting the story, you can really see the change in you. And this happened with Susan as well. Really? This is what would tell anybody who's honest with themselves. You are not making this up. This really happened. And you can tell by how your emotions and recalling it is affected. And it's dramatic as hell.
Yeah.
By the way, I think Whitley's watching, and I just heard him. So hi, Whitley.
Oh, hi, Whitley. I'd love to
thank you, Whitley, for having our back and being so loyal and being such a good friend all these years and caring about what we do. It means a great deal to me. It means a great deal to all of us. So
yeah, he's the man.
He's quite a character.
Yeah. So yeah, when I was speaking, when I came to your studio and sat down, I really didn't. You remember I was going to make notes and all this and that, and I was all nervous, but I just it's all in, it's all in there. I don't need it. It's in my memory, and I was just seeing it in my mind and speaking it, and just as if I kept looking at you while you were standing next to the camera. So it was just like I just felt like I was telling you what happened. And I didn't think about it at all. I just told what I saw,
And I saw what you saw, and Earl and I both sat there spellbound. Earl Grey Anderson, he was sitting right there, and at the end, you literally had us in tears.
I think I was
really hard to hold back.
Yeah, I didn't expect to get so emotional. Oh, hi, Whitley.
Hi, Whitley.
Yeah, I didn't expect to get emotional at the end, but I was so caught up in the memory of it and the enormity of it. And it's almost, I went to see Yvonne the day before or 2 days before we did that. So I didn't have a lot of time to process the more I had of my memory. I expanded my memory a little bit of 2 moments. And I wasn't really prepared for how I was going to feel, it just expressing all of it from, beginning to end. Those moments are like the key moments. There's a lot of other things that have happened to me, but those moments that are in this little movie you made, that's like the guts of what I've experienced. And it was very emotional. It was emotional when it was happening. I
Yes, it
was
was.
terrified. I was terrified. I don't know if that came through in my telling of it, but I was absolutely terrified. And I wasn't even admitting to myself in daylight hours what was going on with me when I went to sleep, or, woke up in the middle of the night and found something outside my window. Um, I really didn't know how emotional I was going to get.
Every time I was working in the edit bay and I got to the end, I thought, well, I've seen this a number of times and I'm a big tough guy and I'll be able to just watch this because I have to watch it. I have to make sure the sound levels are right and everything's correct. And every time, even just thinking of it now, it got my emotions
Yeah.
every single time
Wow.
because we all know how real this is, and how we know. I think one of the ways that we know how real this is how we respond emotionally to it.
Yeah.
It's deep in our souls
Yeah.
that this happened, and it's deep in our souls that it's incredibly important to humanity, to each and every one
Yeah.
of us. And there's a certain sadness that goes along with it because the rest of the population is not there with you. And I think, honestly, I wish they were.
I do too.
It would be a different world, or as Philip Corso said, and I hope I don't get this wrong, it'll be a new world if you can take it.
If you
I
can
might have
take it.
said that. If you
Yeah.
can take it, that's right.
Yeah.
And we're
Yeah.
feeling that, and we're experiencing that right now,
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah. And with this drone stuff going on, I mean, I live like 2.5 hours from the place in New Jersey where all of this is happening. It's very close to me. I have my sister-in-law is in Princeton. We have family down there, and this is happening to people that I know. And it's starting to come up a little bit too. It's come upstate New York has gotten a little bit of it. Northeastern Pennsylvania is getting it.
Temecula, California, which is odd.
Really?
Yeah, Temecula is not some place that's like New York or San Francisco. It's out in the desert. Not many people in the country even know where Temecula is. It's just odd that it's happening there. And the videos that I saw of it were very interesting because there was a hell of a lot of them in the sky, and they're flying at altitudes that would seem to be above that of which a drone can fly. Now, a full-size helicopter can't fly much above 16,000 feet. The air is too thin. It doesn't
Right.
have the rotors just have there's nothing to dig into. And
Right.
it's the same way with drones.
Right.
And
They're
so
propeller.
I
Yeah.
don't think they're capable of going over 10,000 feet.
Yeah. Yeah. These things are very strange. I don't know what they are, but it's people have a right to know what's in our
They
airspace.
do.
I think it's a crying shame that our government can't be honest or tell us they don't know if they don't know, or at
Well, they
least
do. They absolutely do. Because as I said earlier before you came on, if I was to fly, I'm a licensed UAV pilot
right.
to fly drones and radio controlled aircraft. And if I was to fly one over the base or over the city, and within 10 minutes, they'd be at my door. They
Yeah.
would trace my signal and they would get me. And
Yeah.
that would be that. And I'd lose my license. I'd probably be arrested. I'd certainly be fined, and I'd probably lose my equipment and everything else. So there would be a lot of hobby drone pilots going down right
Yeah.
now. You'd hear about it, and they're not. And so whatever's going on, Mary and I have both come pretty much to the conclusion is that we're trying to be distracted.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to allow that.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard that. And I've heard that idea too. Yeah, I think it's like, look over here, people, look over here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're making a lot of noise about it, but nothing is being done. It's very frustrating.
People are saying they have strobe lights, and yes, well, a lot of the lights on the craft are wrong. They do have the strobe lights are anti-collision lights. That's so at a very long distance. If you're flying an aircraft, being a pilot, I know that you may be able to see them way far in the distance before you get anywhere near them. So you
Yeah.
don't have a collision. Thus, they're called
Right.
anti-collision. So
Right.
clearly, the craft have those on there for that reason, which makes it highly unlikely that they're from another world. So, but as I said before, it's the failure of Biden administration to tell the truth challenges Trump to do just that. Interesting comment there, Whitley. But the problem is, like right now, it's distracting us from talking about your story. Do you see what I mean?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
why that's why we're here. So that's their process
Oh, yeah.
actually happening right now. This is what they hope for, I think. It's
Wow.
purely speculation on my part, but
Yeah.
I
Everybody's talking about that.
have been very distracted by this, and it's
Me
not
too.
good because I'm supposed to be focused on you. I'm supposed to be
Yeah.
focused on the shows I'm doing. I'm supposed to be focused on the community and helping the community. We have
Yeah.
another meet and greet, which is kind of our support group meeting tomorrow. It's important that I focus on that. And I had things I was doing to prepare for tomorrow's meeting. And I was being distracted by BS, essentially,
Yeah.
because we can't get to the bottom of it ourselves and we have no control over it. So
Right.
it's best to get back on the program, which is your show. So how do you
Well,
feel about having such a big deal being made out of you
a
tonight?
little nervous, a little undeserving because I don't consider myself special in any way.
Mhm.
But I really my
None
whole
of us
motive
do.
no, I my whole motivation for this was to be part of this community and to perhaps give other people, the sense of belonging that you're not alone because I get a lot out of the support group that I go up to in Rochester and meeting you guys and I mean it's only been in the last 2 or 3 years that I've met anyone else who's had these experiences. It's so isolating to have this experience and not be able to talk to anyone about not anyone about it because people who have not experienced it do not understand and they cannot understand. They
No,
just
they
can't.
have to have the experience.
Right. You
They
have to
have
have.
to see something they can't explain, and then they're in.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, once
And
once
it's
you experience.
understandable. I'm not mad at people because they don't believe us. I'm not bothered by it. I understand it because I
Yeah.
think all of us, including Whitley, before any of this happened to us, were skeptical.
Yeah, of course. Of course. I mean, I'm not a gullible person and
Yeah,
like I think I said in the story, I have a science background.
right.
You know, I was in nursing school. I was an X-ray tech. I worked in hospitals for 10 years and and then I have the writing background and journalism, it's oh, what did he say? I didn't see it.
There it is.
A special was about us, the deep public. We're the ones that make the wheels go
And he did a
round.
Texas style. Ain't.
Yeah. Yeah. He is from Texas, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sure is.
Yeah.
He sure is. So it is. He's right.
Yeah. No, I'm really happy that we've done this together and I'm grateful to you for I know what is going to be a beautiful job. I mean, I haven't seen it. I hardly remember what I said anymore. I mean, I know what I said, but I mean, I don't know what it's going to look like either. So I'm like all
But
excited.
you remember your sunburn though. Every
Oh,
time
I
you bring that up.
I can't forget the sunburn. I know I bring it up every time. I'm like, oh my God, I went to the beach the day before. I was just having Andy and I, or my husband, we were having such a great time in California. Oops, I just lost you, Steve. Oh, there you are. Oh. Is anybody else seeing Steve? I'm not on YouTube. I'm just on the Steam yard. Oh, I'm frozen too.
Wow, that was
Hi.
amazing.
Yeah.
Shouldn't do that.
What happened?
I was bumped. I was bumped off my own show mysteriously. So I'm sure this comes as no surprise to Whitley.
Weird things always happen.
It's been happening. It's been happening. So, but geez, we got 20 minutes in so far, so we're doing good.
Yay. 20
um,
minutes.
yeah, I worked very hard to color grade and get as much of that sunburn out as I could, but it wasn't easy. And then since then, I've learned even more about color grading because I took a whole course on it. Now I'm really good at it, and so I wish I had known about that stuff. Ho hum, Whitley says. Stop making me laugh. No, that's fine. I need to laugh lately.
It's not a big deal. It's
So,
not a big deal. I was just embarrassed that I was so silly to get a sunburn the day before I'm supposed to be on camera. I mean, what was I thinking? That's all. It's a nothing burger. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
yeah. No. The show is a little over 35 minutes long, which is much longer for us than usual, but I never once cut you off. I let you tell if it had taken you 2 hours to tell the story, it would have been 2 hours. That's how we work from now on. We don't worry about algorithms. We don't worry about, being clickbait and all that kind of stuff. Because it's just about your story. And it's my hope that this will encourage other Close Encounters people to come forward.
Yeah.
When they see that you were allowed to go on camera without being edited to say things you didn't say, and without the spooky music and all that kind of stuff, and just tell your story, then it's my hope after a year of doing this that they'll feel safe enough with us, because we're not the big network.
Right.
And unfortunately, the truth doesn't sell well for them. It's all about money. And we're not about that at all.
No, not at all.
We spend our own money on this show.
Yeah.
So, and it's worth it, I have to tell you. And it's worth it not to succumb to
the pressure,
the big machine to play by the rules. Do it our way and you'll make a lot of money with us. Well, what they're really saying to you is they want to make a lot of money, because if you make money, they get more, because they get 30% of anything we get off of YouTube. Yeah. So, we're not playing ball. So
it has always burned my butter as an artist, and with children who are artists, that without the artist, they would have nothing. And yet the artist never gets enough. They make so much off of artists, and it's just disgusting. I mean,
it is.
That's just the way it is, I guess.
No,
but what we're doing here, it's just us chickens, and we can keep our integrity and do it the way we want to do it. And I think our community is going to appreciate that. Starving artists, yes.
So, Judy, so it's been quiet from you, pretty much. You haven't had any other incursions or encounters or
No, not really. I mean,
anything you think relates?
I have had things happening, but it's changed over the years. It's become, I still have visitations, but it's more about healing. I think healings are happening. Like, I fell on the ice a couple years ago and I injured my shoulder, and I had PT for 8 months. And I just, as I went to sleep one time, I just said a little prayer. I said, please, I'm asking for a healing. And that night I had a dream, and I kind of woke up from it, and there was the buzzing and humming. And
wait till you see what I did with that.
Oh boy. Oh, good. Well, I kind of look over my shoulder, I'm on my side. I look over my shoulder, and there's 4 honeybees, tall honeybee, standing next to my bed, and they're working on my shoulder. And my physical therapist, the next time I saw him, like 2 days later, said, wow, your joint is really opened up, like a lot more than it did, just 2 days ago. And I'm like, gee, I don't know, you're doing a good job. but I had to think that maybe that had something to do with it. And so it's more like that. And I have a lot of dreams. I have a lot of dreams with them. But I have not been taken. I have, and the fear has really just quieted down.
Hmm.
Um, I was so afraid in the beginning, and this is like going back what, like 30 years,
Yeah,
and
well,
it's
that's understandable. I mean, good for, for goodness sake. I mean, it's not every day that blue lights come in your room and you're, or
yeah,
that see what you saw in the backyard and how the perspective of that was. I'm not going to
yeah,
give too much away, but
yeah.
uh,
I mean, that
it,
stuff was incredible. I mean,
yeah,
just
because you
jaw
were wide
dropping,
awake,
wide awake when
wide
that's.
awake,
I was
and your
standing at
backyard was lit
the
up
bath,
like daylight.
and the backyard was lit up like floodlights, like it was daylight. I thought it was morning. I thought I overslept. It was, yeah, it wasn't. Not, it
You
wasn't
have
a,
it. You have a question.
yes. If they came back, I would. I would.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I would go.
And they do come back, and I do go, but it
Yeah.
hasn't happened in a month or more. So,
Yeah, no, it's in my dreams though, mostly, I think now. It's not conscious.
what about when you're first waking up? Because what's been happening to me is when I first wake up in the morning, I was talking to Nancy Thames. We had a show with her last night. It was wonderful. She was great as
Yeah.
always.
uh,
But
Yeah.
I was telling her about how I keep wanting to ask the visitors when I'm in their presence, what do you think of our art? And do you have art of your own? Because I think our art is beautiful. I think it's important and meaningful. But then when I'm there, I never think to ask that. But
Yeah.
then I forget that they're probably always listening. And I have been I'll wake up, my eyes open up. Mary will get up sometimes before me, and I'll lay my head back down, close my eyes, and I see the most incredibly interesting and bizarre uh, forms and shapes that are clearly defined. And I've been trying to make sense out of them. And then it hit me when I was talking to Nancy. What if that's their art and that's what they're showing me? Because it's
That's,
beautiful.
I have seen things like that with my eyes closed,
Yeah, that's what I wanted
like
to know.
Mandela kind of things. Yeah.
But
Um, yeah, I don't know
I
what
saw
that
curved shapes, like I could
oh that
draw it, and I probably should.
yeah, you should. That'd be interesting to see if
And
you
I've
can.
seen them
Yeah.
clearly. So much so,
Yeah.
I'll open my eyes up, look around. Yeah, I'm awake. Close my eyes. Oh my God! There's two or three of them. And then one time I saw a net like in front of me, and behind the net, like a web. It was a web.
Yeah.
There were I could see them behind the crisscrossing of the web in there. I could see them and their face and their little gleaming eyes. And it wasn't a still image. They were moving.
That's really interesting that you say that web, because I have seen them through, like it looks like a screen, like a screen that you'd put in your window, you
Mm-hmm.
know, like that grid, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I have that picture that was taken of the orange orb that was in my bedroom when I was in a hypnotherapy session. And there seems to be, I can see a grid, and it's not from the window, because those windows that in the room I was in were recessed, so that I had no direct sunlight coming on me, and it was like the middle of the day, so there was no, like, afternoon lights, slanting in or anything. That's interesting. I wonder what that grid effect.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, that's
And I
nice.
believe that Jasung rocks. Thank you very, very much. And I'm glad to hear that. This is what he had to say, Judy.
Yeah, I know. I feel the same way. I feel like this is a real community. I do.
It's certainly become an amazing community, and I feel blessed.
Yeah, me too. I feel so lucky. I can't wait to come out and see you guys again.
Yeah, well, you plan to come out. You were planning to come out during the winter. I think
Yeah,
it was. You were
yeah,
gonna
we're gonna
get a place
be
to stay in
back in.
Ohio or something.
Yeah, we're gonna be house hunting too. So yeah,
Okay.
I got a plan. I
Oh,
got a
you and
lot.
Andy have been talking about that, have you?
Yeah, yes, we have. We went down and roamed around looking at houses with a real estate agent. And yeah, he's retiring. He has 14 days left. He's retiring at the
Oh,
end of the,
really?
yeah, it's almost
Now,
done.
Andy's on the fence and he's very scientifically oriented. And I spent a number of days with both of you, and he's a wonderful human being and but skeptical. But it's so refreshing to see a couple like you two where um, there's that respect there. Like I'm not quite convinced, but he's not judgmental about it in any way.
No,
And after spending time with him, I know that, and that's actually rare.
yeah,
Usually this breaks up couples, and so you're very blessed to be together.
yeah.
I think you guys are great couples. So
Oh,
we had a
thanks.
lot of fun going up and looking at
Oh,
up on the cross and looking over the city and going to dinner. And
sure.
it was great.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful trip. You guys were the best hosts. It was really, it was so much fun. I want to hang out with you guys. Yeah.
The Indian food was great too.
The Indian was really good. That's one of my favorite.
Yeah, I'm glad because it's one of ours too. So,
Yeah.
oh boy, we got Earl Grey Anderson's in here. Hello,
Hi,
Earl.
Earl.
Thank you for everything you are
Earl.
doing for us. Between you and Whitley and Yvonne, we're after a year we're staying afloat and being given plenty to do, and it's greatly appreciated. So back to your story, without giving too much away. Is there anything you'd like to say further about it? And would you like to take questions if people have questions about it? But again, we don't want to give too much away. We want you to go through the story, and then we'll have Judy back on a live stream, and you can ask more about it. I think that would work, don't you?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I would take questions now. I'll try not to reveal too much, but
Yeah, don't do that.
if anybody has any questions.
No
Oh, somebody
one.
loves my
Thank
orange
you, no
robe.
one. Oh, there you go. There's your question.
Okay. Could these beings be the source of religious stories like the Bible or the, you know, I have a complicated history with religion. I was raised in a Christian home. My stepmother was Baptist, my father was Presbyterian, and I never really connected with the religion for whatever reason. But my best friend all through grade school and high school was a Jewish girl, and I really did connect with that religion. And I converted to Judaism in my early 20s. And I was also in a Wicca coven for a couple years, and
Wow.
and then for the last 30 years, I joined a Buddhist study group, and I went on a lot of retreats, a lot of silent retreats. I did a lot of study. I met some monks and studied with them, and I really delved into meditation and Eastern philosophy. And so I have a lot of different religion in my background. And I really don't see that this phenomenon is connected to religion all that much. I do think that maybe some of the biblical stories are about our visitors. Um, but I don't really know. I mean, my dad and I used to watch Ancient Aliens together, and he loved that show. He always said he was from the stars. And
Right.
my dad was an interesting man. He was he was born in 1942. He was a very, man's man. He was a small business owner his whole life, and
Thank you,
did
Lynn.
construction and, built
Thank you,
houses.
George.
So I forget now
Thank
exactly
you
what
so
the
much.
question was, but I don't see that this really relates with religion all that much. I describe myself as a spiritual person more than a religious person. My moniker is kind of like, if it's God, it's good. I don't really care what religion you are, but if you have God in your heart, and there's a higher power, then that's what's important to me. I
And you
think
have a
the
strong moral center.
Yeah, I think the visitors are from the same source that we are. I don't think they're angels. I don't think they're demons. I don't think they're God. I don't think, I think they're our family. I think we're connected to them the way we're connected to each other as a human, as a human race. Um,
I agree
you
with
know,
you.
everything is one, it's all one source. It's all one great thing. And it's a huge cosmic soup of life, and we're part of it. And isn't that great? I'd rather
It
embrace
is.
it than find division with religion, which unfortunately, I find religion divides us more than it unites us. It gives us comparisons to each other, and we can judge each other with those comparisons. And I think it's done a lot of damage. I think it's also done a lot of good, because in the beginning, I think you need the rules, the Abrahamic religions, with all those, the 10 commandments. Actually, there's 613 for Jews, so consider yourself lucky if you're a Christian. um it's
Thank you, Naria. Jeez.
I think it's spirit. It's all spirit.
It's all spirit. You're absolutely correct. And certainly there are many indigenous tribes of the earth that will agree with you on that. They've known this all along. You had a question about, you have a question right here from Naria. You also had one about missing time.
Oh yeah, the missing time that happened in Hawaii.
Yeah,
It-
you're going to see all about that in a few minutes in her show. So
yeah,
that
that
was very striking.
it took us 12 hours, one tank of gas in a Ford Mustang. How do you last 12 hours on one tank of gas? I'd like to know. But it took us 12 hours to go from Hana to the Wailea beaches, which the ranger that we asked about this back road told us it should take 4 to 6 hours at the most. And we got back at 4:30 in the morning, and we had left Hana at 4:30 in the afternoon. I mean, it's just, it's very strange. Um, yeah, I can't explain it.
You have a question right here from
And it seems that there's a connection with our friends
Naria.
who are neurodivergent. Now that is an interesting thing. Yes. Yes. I'm of the age, I'm 61. I'm of the age that, we were not being diagnosed with ADHD or ADD or OCD or Asperger's or, autism or any of these things when I was growing up. But I suspect, in looking at my children, I suspect that I'm probably ADD. I have the kind of brain that can easily take in multiple sources of stimulation and keep them separate. I'm great at multitasking. I can also hyper focus on something. That's why I was a really good meditator. Um, yeah, it's interesting, but I think I this generation, my children are, well, my oldest is 39 and my twins are 25. So I kind of have two different generations right there. And the younger generations are coming in, I think, more and more neurodivergent. And I think there might be something to that. They certainly are. They certainly seem to be more spiritual and more connected, and have more paranormal experiences. And in my experience with my children, anyway. What do you think about that, Steve? Neurodivergence and this phenomenon?
That I can, yeah, I think there's a relationship.
Yeah, I think
Definitely.
there is. Yeah. And artists tend to be maybe on the spectrum or ADD or something like that. We're all right-brained, a little bit different. We walk to our own
Yeah.
door, you know.
And as far as multitasking with my hobbies, talents, and the things I do with art, it's all over the map. I don't even know how I do it half the time, but I just do it.
But it's
You
a
know,
great
I mean,
cacophony.
Hmm. For your show, I scarred doesn't matter. We have to try. Scared. Oh, doesn't matter. We
Scared.
have to try. Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes.
For your show, I mean, I did over 40 effect shots.
Wow.
Yeah. And some of them are very subtle. They're just little things in passing, and they're not actual film footage. Some of them might look that way, but like when you were looking down and seeing the lights down below and things like that. But just, again, I only put stuff in where I felt it was important, because I could easily, and the same goes with you, Susan, with your jackrabbit case. I could easily, with both of you, I cut the show without any effects. effects. I put the heading on it or intro. I put the end on the credits. I put in the audio, the audio of your voices speaking as well as accompanying music. I've learned how to mix the music so it's at a level like in a film where it's matching the level of your voice, but you can still be heard clearly. I do all of that. Then I go back, I fine groom it, every cut, every fade, dissolve. I do all that. And what I found is that I could watch that all the way through without any reenactments, without any visuals, without any animations, and it worked.
It worked, yeah.
Yeah, because both of you told your stories so well, I was mesmerized, and I was already had seen it. But when it's all cut together, and I didn't cut anything out. I just cut out where we would stop and say, "Do you want to take a break? Have some water?" And I would cut that stuff out, and it would just go right to the next part. But they never removed anything. There was no everything you had to say, both of you, was so important and so moving that, again, I could have watched it without any effects at all. So what I'm finding is that I do want people to kind of visualize. Not everybody's good at visualizing when they hear somebody speaking. I am.
Yeah, I am too. I have a visual mind. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I see it. I'm just like, I'm there. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But to assume everybody can do that is not correct. So by putting in the stuff, and I can tell from the comments, people are grateful that we did, like I show your praying mantises. Wait till you see them. I don't know if they're 100% accurate, but I give the feeling of it all, and it really works. So again, I just do less because less is more, and I keep your face on a lot. There are stretches where you're just talking, and there's no need for any animation.
Yeah.
If you talked about you took pictures and you were under the waterfall, I had your pictures, and in fact, all the pictures you see in this show tonight are her pictures that she sent me. And I cropped them and fiddled with them and photoshopped them, and
Oh, cool! I didn't realize you were going to use them. Cool.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean,
great.
why create something if I have the real thing? So,
that's great. I didn't realize. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't wait to see this.
Yeah. So, in fact, that's going to happen in about 15 minutes. So,
somebody was just asking about blood type. I just
blood type. Okay.
Quickly. I'm A positive. My mother-in-law was O negative. I think all three of my children are positives. I don't really know if there's anything to that or not, but that's all I can say is that I'm not an RH negative blood type.
Yeah.
So.
I've been asked that too. And to be honest, as many times as they pulled blood out of me in the last year, I still don't know what my blood type is. I'm going in to have a blood test done next week. I think I'll ask.
Yeah, you should. I only know because I used to give blood back in the 80s before they told me you don't have enough blood for yourself. Why are you giving blood? Because I was anemic when I was young.
Right.
But when you give blood, they tell you your type. But you can ask them.
By the way, my heart palpitations as of the last few days have completely stopped.
Good.
They have been getting quieter and quieter, and I've had them all through my life. But because they were, I was under a lot of stress when I was doing your show. It's self-imposed. It's nobody's fault but mine.
Yeah.
I take things very seriously, and because I'm older, I was having trouble with it. But I'm still seeing the cardiologist on the 2nd just to make sure. And they did find that thing on the AKG, and so we're going to have that taken care of.
Yeah, Andy said that's very treatable. Did they give you a beta blocker or anything, or it's just gotten better on its own because you're not stressed?
It has gotten better on its own. It's part of it's my crystal, and the other part is when I
sleep with crystals
coming on, they really work. Whether it's a placebo or not is besides the point. It works.
I don't think it is. I mean, I think it's real. I think it's for real. I keep I like amethyst, pink amethyst, purple amethyst. I've got a couple different things on my bedside, just and rose quartz. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, let's all take a break, and the show starts at 5. And thank you so much for coming on tonight. It makes for a much more interesting pre-premiere to have the person on. It just kind of came into my head. You should have the person on that's actually in the show
Yeah,
instead of
you didn't
just
ask me
having to
till
see my
yesterday.
face. Yeah.
And
So
we had this game we were going to go to. It's an hour up the road, and so I'm glad I got back in time for it.
great.
Very happy.
All
Thank you.
right.
I
Well,
can't wait
thanks. And thank everyone for all your support.
Yeah.
All the support. I don't mean just the support monetarily speaking that you gave tonight. That's greatly appreciated. But your support for being here, being part of this community. And thank you, Whitley Strieber and Earl, very much for being here. And I got to hook you guys up one day.
And Jill.
And Jill. Oh, yes, Jill's here. Oh, very good. So we'll see you again next Friday for the community chat. And if you're not familiar with that, Whitley, that's when we have people from the community come into the chat. And just like Judy's here, there'll be 10 people on the screen. And it's kind of a support group, kind of
It's
online,
great.
where we talk about this stuff.
I'll be there.
We'll see you on Friday. And thanks again so much. Where's the bell? Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.